Alright, in this video what we're going to do is take a look at some examples of using the order of operations. Now what you might want to do in these videos, or at least this video in particular, is to hit the pause button, try to work it out yourself. And when I say work it out, I mean simplify this expression completely and then hit the play button and watch me work it through. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is notice that I have a grouping involved here. I have the brackets. So you want to simplify inside there first, according to the order of operations. So within there, what are we going to do? Well, we have to identify the operations. We have subtraction and we have division. So which one's more important, the subtraction or the division? And the answer to that question is it's the division. Now just a side note here, if you want to take care of this exponent first, you can, 3 squared. And the reason why you're allowed to do that is because exponents are more important than subtraction. So be careful, 3 squared does not mean 3 times 2, it means 3 times 3. So that gives us 9. So yes, there are times when if you want to do more than one step at a time, you can. And this is a good example of that. So let's get back to the grouping. We want to take care of this division first. So bring down the 6 minus, and then take care of the 12 divided by negative 2. 12 divided by negative 2, the signs do not match, so we write that down as a negative number. So 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. Next, within the grouping, we can change our double sign. Minus minus becomes a plus. Next, simplify completely inside those brackets. 6 plus 6 is 12. And then we've simplified completely within the grouping symbols. So what we do next is we step outside the grouping symbols and look at the operations. We have subtraction and multiplication. So the multiplication is more important than the subtraction, so we take care of that. 5 times 12 is 60. And then subtract. 9 minus 60 is negative 51. So the answer then is negative 51. Okay, let's take a look at example number 2. Now, one thing I want you to notice about number 2 is that there's a lot of stuff going on here. And what you want to do is just take your time and be confident with what you're doing. We have brackets involved, and then within the brackets we have a secondary grouping, which is right here. We have the subtraction within the parentheses here. I guess that goes out here. So within the innermost grouping first, that's what we're going to take care of. So we have 4. Bring down everything else that you didn't mess with. Once again, just like in the previous problem that we did, we can go ahead and take care of this exponent. We have negative 2 inside parentheses squared. Be careful, that is a positive 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. But what we should have done first, and we're allowed to do this at the same time, is take care of this double sign that we have here. So minus minus once again becomes a plus. We want to go ahead and finish what we've started here within those parentheses. Within the parentheses, we can take care of this addition. That's going to give us 19. Let's clean this up just a little bit. There we go. So completely simplify within the innermost groupings first. So now that leaves us with 4, 8 minus. If you want to take 3 times 4 and get 12, you can do that also, but let's go ahead and stick with the addition here first. We have 7 plus 12 is 19. There's nothing else we can do inside of this result here, the 7 plus 12 is 19. If you keep that in the parentheses like that, it's just not a big deal, but it's not necessary as well, so I'll just leave them off. So bring down the 4. Now we want to completely simplify within the brackets. Now what's the most important operation, the subtraction, the multiplication, or the addition? Well, the answer is the multiplication. So 3 times 4 is 12. Then we have plus 19. So next we want to go from left to right because subtraction and addition are equally important. 8 minus 12 is negative 4. Continue on with that. We have negative 4 plus 19. That gives us positive 15. And finally, 4 beside the grouping symbol means to multiply. So 4 times 15 is 60. So we simplify this. Our answer is 60. All right, example number 3. All right, in example number 3, we're looking at here, we have the big brackets, and once again within the brackets we have a parenthesis. So we want to take care of the innermost groupings first. So we're going to bring down the negative 32. divided by bracket negative 68 minus 2. Inside the parentheses now we can simplify 7 minus 9. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. We have that raised to the 5th power, a bracket, and then the 2 on the outside. So what we're going to do next is continue simplifying within the main brackets first. So inside the main bracket we have subtraction, multiplication, and the exponent going on. So the first thing we want to do now is take care of that exponent. So we have negative 32, negative 68 minus 2. So we have to take care of this part. What's negative 2 raised to the 5th power? Now you got to be really careful with this because the negative number is inside parentheses and it's going to follow the odd even rule. Negative 2 inside parentheses to the 5th power is negative 32. And the reason for that is, remember, the 5 is an odd number and the odd number will give us a negative result. So it's a negative 32. So continue on with inside the brackets. What do we do first? Do we subtract or multiply first? Well, we multiply first. So that gives us negative 68. And then we multiply. So this is 2 times negative 32 is positive 64. Then we square that. We can still take care of inside the grouping. We want to completely simplify in there is what we want to do. So we have inside here, we have, oh, be careful, we had a negative 64 because 2 times negative 32 is negative 64, so be careful with that. Now we have a minus minus, that's going to become a plus. So now I can simplify inside the brackets. So negative 68 plus 64 is negative 4. Square that. Now, this is another example of the odd-even rule. 2 is an even number, which tells us we're going to get a positive result from that. So we have negative 32 divided by negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. And finally, a division. Negative 32 divided by positive 16 is negative 2. So the answer to this problem is negative 2. All right, we have one more example. Example number 4. All right, here's number 4, and you'll notice that we have groupings here, and then we have another grouping here that we can simplify inside there. So inside the first grouping, we have 3 times negative 8, that's negative 24. Then we bring down the negative 4, and then 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Now once again, the reason why we did that is because we simplify in the groupings first, inside the groupings first, and then work our way outward. Now this is where you got to be really careful. What operations are going on right now are division and multiplication. Remember, they're equally important, and because they're equally important, we have to go from left to right. So in this example, division is more important than the multiplication. Now some people might say, well, John, you have parentheses. Well, parentheses mean work inside of the parentheses first. Well, inside the parentheses, there's nothing to do. We have negative 4. There's nothing else you can do with that. Inside the other parentheses, there's a negative 2. Work inside there. There's nothing else inside of those parentheses to do. So, division first. Negative 24 divided by negative 4 is a positive 6. Then 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. So we simplify this expression and we got negative 12. So just a kind of a word of caution here. Take your time with these expressions. Just keep in mind what you need to do. Start with the innermost groupings and work your way outward according to the order of operations. So anyway, I hope this helps you understand better how to work with the order of operations.